popular college bar, Tempe Tavern, is suing the city of Tempe, claiming its smear campaign has drastically affected the bar's sales. Last year, hundreds of minors were cited for underage drinking in 2 raids at the bar. Tempe Tavern says the bar was unfairly targeted by police and liquor officials. So let's take a legal deep dive into this case. Joining me now is criminal defense attorney Josh Colesroot. Josh, explain Tempe Tavern's argument here and really the difference between harassment versus regulation.
Yeah, so this is a really interesting case. You have the City of Tempe saying that 80% of all underage drinking citations over the last couple of years happened at Tempe Tavern or was associated there. But when you look deeper into the details, Tempe Tavern says that, just because people were arrested there, you can't really tie that to the actual sales. That when the the bar was raided itself, Tempe Tavern, says that there weren't any sales that were directly related to the underage drinking. So, and they're also claiming that the City of Tempe is unfairly targeting a popular bar, and that's why 80% of the citations are coming from that bar itself.
Okay, so I want to read what the City of Tempe said. They released a statement. Part of their statement says this, quote, over a 2-year period, Tempe police arrested and cited 530 underage customers for providing fake IDs or underage drinking at bars citywide. About 420 of those arrests, just under 80%, occurred at Tempe Tavern. This establishment's actions and continued blatant disregard for the law and public safety speak for themselves. The notice of claim estimates damages in lost business and reputational harm of more than $9 million. The city forcefully rejects this claim as absurd. So, I mean, you look at those numbers, 80%, don't the numbers speak for themselves, coming from the City of Tempe?
Not necessarily. And this case is going to come down to discovery. That is, all the paperwork that is involved in something like this. And so really this case is about motive, right? So was the motive of Tempe to put this company, this Tempe Tavern, out of business? And they're going to find out through their emails. They're going to find out by their other enforcement to see whether or not they treated similar establishments the same way. So, for example, there are other bars that had underage drinkers that were tied to actually selling the kids underage alcohol. Now, were they also raided, or did Tempe take an exception and really just focus on Tempe Tavern? So that's something that they're going to uncover. And if it's shown that the raiding of Tempe Tavern is unrelated to regulation, Tempe is going to be in a lot of trouble.
Okay, well, in all fairness, there were other bars in Tempe that had citations, but nowhere near Tempe Tavern.
Sure.
So, I mean, what do you think? How is this going to shake out?
So that's only one part of the equation. So Tempe Tavern is saying, look, we're a popular bar. And of course, if you only focus on Tempe Tavern, there's going to be a lot of arrests. As opposed to, well, if you focus on other areas too, you could still have the same amount of arrests, but it's going to be spread out through the entire city. And they're saying, look, yeah, we're popular and there's going to be underage people standing around, but that doesn't mean that we're non-compliant. That doesn't mean that we are, unique in our way that we're not complying with the regulations. They're actually saying that we do comply and that you actually can't tie the raids into selling alcohol to the underage kids.
So what do you think the outcome will be?
It's going to depend on what the discovery says. If it shows that Tempe had a motive to do this other than regulation, Tempe Tavern should win.
Okay. All right, Josh, thank you so much.